MBT. Today we're doing MBT from GMT Games. I'm doing the third scenario, all basic and advanced rules, plus the optional rules listed below in the summary. So we're going to start with the spotting phase. Now for units that have been spotted the previous turn, you actually check for spot removal. And we're going to go through that procedure right here. So let's take these three. Well, these three vehicles can't have spot removal because they're in open sight. However, these three tanks right here in these alleys, they have a chance of spot removal. So you see how many units have a chance to spot these. Now this tank obviously does right here on the hill, but does this unit in full cover. So let's go over here and see what the normal range is. So we have vehicular, light cover -1, spot move +2. So we got +1, full cover spotting -4. So we have vehicle -3, so they can only spot at 3. So that unit can't get a spot. And now we have units back here on the far left. We'll see if they can get a spot without blockage. Okay, that unit cannot get a spot to the first. It can get a spot to the second and third vehicle. So the second and third vehicle have 2 units that can spot it. That's 3 units that can spot it. So it's 2 units for the first, 3 units for the second and third. Flying tanks. Right here. Just want to see about these 2. So we'll add 3 more units that can spot that first one because there's a tank batting behind those. So that's going to be 4 units, 5 units that can spot that, and 6 units, 7 units that can spot those 2. So it's 6 units for the first one, and so they're all +6. And what's their range? Their best chance of spotting is this guy right here. And they're going to have a spot move with light cover, so it's going to be +1, so that's 30, so that's half the range. Let's go 6 units, half the range. And they're automatically spotted. So all those units do not get spot removal. They maintain their spotting. So that's it for spot removal for units that have already been spotted. Now we have to spot new units. So that would be the Soviets trying to locate the NATO forces. So this unit on a hill, it's in light cover. It's in light cover, and the range is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm pretty sure that's spotted. Vehicular, light cover. The spotting range is 10. So now I have to take the roll. Let's see if there's any other. We're not testing for button up yet. So they're seasoned. It's at half range, so I need a 70 or less to get that spotted, and I have three chances at that, and that is spotted. So this is, I'm going to mark this spotted. And this is where I wanted to add another spot marker. I'm just going to put spot move, but I want to create another spot marker for generic spotting. not spot mover, spot fire. So they're spotted. How about over here? You have a hull down vehicle. I know that they can't be spotted right there. They're in full cover. They're going to be hard to see. But these 3 units, I'm trying to spot this one right here. And in the open. So let's look. So light cover, well, let's take a look at the cover chart. They're in crops. Cover is 12. Medium for spotting. So the crops are 12 for spotting. So they're medium cover. So that's -2. So that's a 7. The range is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's not spotted yet because it's in the crops, which are medium cover. Anything else? Just this unit on the hill, I believe, has been spotted so far. All right. And this hull down unit, that's a leg unit. I guarantee nobody can spot them yet. So I believe we're done with our spotting phase. Let's see. So, okay. Unit in full cover. So you're only able to spot them in a range of 3 because they're in full cover. Where's the full cover? Targeting full cover -2. Normally the range spotting range would be 10, but now the range is 3. So there's only one potential target for the Soviets, and it's that one right there. Okay, now we look at this chart to see which one is next. And we don't have disrupted, determine available commands. Right now, available commands isn't an issue for both these sides because they're all acting in platoons. So that isn't going to be an issue. If we start breaking up that platoons, that's going to start being an issue. So I'm not going to worry about that. So now we place commands. Now things get interesting because we actually have units on the board. So this unit right here, do I want to put in Overwatch? Do I want to give it a fire command? If I give it a fire command, it only has these 3 targets right here. Or do I give it a move command? And how about them? That recon unit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I believe they have a heavy machine gun, which can't actually do much to a tank at this point. But they can call in indirect fire. So I would need to give them an Overwatch command. So I'm going to give them an Overwatch command, and we're going to, yeah. I can try to call in indirect fire. I don't know if it would make that much of a difference here. I don't have a lot of indirect fire. I just have this one 106A2. But I can call in indirect fire over here in this building hexes and maybe blow up a building where that road is. So I'm going to give them an Overwatch command. So let's look at the commands. And I go game markers, Overwatch command down here. So I'm going to give this unit an Overwatch command. Do I want to give this unit a fire command? Yes, I actually do want to give that unit a fire command. The reason being is that I don't give this guy a fire command, those tanks down there might take a fire command and take me out. So I can give it a fire. Yeah, I want to give it a fire. I don't even want to give it a move command. Although move would make it hard to hit. And it is hull down. Well, it's hull down. I'm going to leave it at that. All right, for the rest of the Americans, I have units that I want to move. This I need a move command for. Now, is this a recon unit? Okay, so that's a recon. So those two get their own commands, but they're going to share a command, and it's going to be a move command. And this unit right here, I believe I said was going to move right here. This unit is going to enter Overwatch. This unit has the tow missile. They're at perfect range. I'm going to give them a fire command. Oops. These two. I'm going to give them... why am I tempted to give them an... I'm tempted to give those my tank, my M1 Abrams tank in this town that's fairly long range, an Overwatch command. Yeah. I'm going to give him a fire command. Right here. All right. My headquarters units, am I going to do anything over here? I would say no. They're going to stand fast. I believe that's it. What do I have over here? My recon unit. Alrighty. So that's going to be it for the NATO actually. Now over here, I am going to give those guys fire command. And I'm going to give a move command to my recon unit. And I'll have to give 2 move commands. Move. I got tank battalion right here. And over here, I would have to give 2 fire. I'm going to have to check the number of commands I have for the Russians. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I want to see how many commands the Soviets have. So they have 15. Chart A, available commands. Go down. Must be on chart B. So we're looking at available commands. Yeah, there we are. We got 15. I'm pretty sure we got plenty. And they're just seasoned. So I have 9 commands. And every unit that's coming on gets its own fire command. So I got 1. And I'm going to clone that. Because I need to have an extra fire command for that guy. If all 3 of those are going to fire. Then, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to give these 2 fire command 6. My headquarters are going to get a move 7. What about them? What about the motorized rifle? What's my command radius? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the maximum they can go right there from my headquarters unit. So I'm shifting my headquarters unit 1 hex down. So that's going to shift my command radius 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those tanks can actually move forward. All right. I believe that's it right now. Okay, so that's it for the command phase. Now we're going to go on to the place commands initiative phase. So now we find out who has the initiative for the indirect fire phase. And then that person will also have the initiative for the direct fire phase. NATO, so it's 74 and 25. So the NATO forces have the initiative for the indirect fire. The only ones I can call indirect fire are these guys right here. And they can call indirect fire from that unit right there, the 106. So let's look at the 106. A2 indirect fire. Okay. GP indirect fire. What's the range? If I want to call it, I want to call it one of these over here, one of these buildings, maybe this building with the road on it. So I'm going to check. And the reason is if I fire it on that building, maybe I collapse the building, maybe. Let's see. It's going to be range of 10. So it's going to be a value of 4. Going to be a value of 4. And the GP defense is 1.5. All right, I'm going to try it. These guys are going to call an indirect fire. It doesn't cost them anything. They don't have to lose. The Scathe can still remain unspotted. So now I have to look to see if I get access, if that call actually goes through properly. And again, their recon, is that my recon unit? Yes, so they can call an indirect fire. So let's see if they're able to do it. So recon calling indirect fire. Okay, called indirect fire response. We have a recon unit, it's attached. Okay. What kind of modifiers do we have? The only thing we have is an observer grade. The calling fires, it's a veteran unit. And it'll be +1 to the response. So I need a 5 or above. And I roll a 10. So I do have response. They do respond. Now I'll put an indirect fire marker over there. American fire marker. Let's go to markers. I believe it's under terrain. No, right here. Already impact. Let's go over here. So it's going to impact that hex right there. Where this tank is. Oops. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? All right. Need another one. He moved. So I'll just move that right over. Right there. All right, so that's indicating that that's indirect fire right there. Now, firepower, you have to look under GP. believe the firepower is only going to be 1 there. So let's look at that 106. So the GP defense, the GP effectiveness is against the GP defense is going to be 1. And the vehicle it's firing at is going to be a T80 BV. Firing 1. T80 BV. It'll be 1 to 8. Oof, that's nuts. That's not sounding good. But then we got to check the terrain. All right, GP. Clear up all my. So target is an A-type vehicle. All right. So it's going to be -20. I'm just going over the various modifiers. 20 shooter grade. It's GP at short range. So there's a -20 modifier. I go over here. GP effectiveness is 1 against 8 -20, so it can't even affect it. I mean, I'll roll 42, so it doesn't affect it. So now I want to check against the terrain. And unfortunately, we're not able to start fires yet. I haven't added that rule. So buildings, wood. They have a GP defense of 4. So a GP defense of 4. Then we go over here. So the building effects. We can't start a fire. I could actually add the fire rules. It's wood and rumble. All right, I'm going to add the fire rules. I'm going to start doing the fire rules. So if it's 1 through 10, all right, so no fire is started. Now we have to see if it was rubbled. So let me pause. Okay, so we have indirect fire. So let's look at calling indirect fire. Indirect fire response over here. Plus and indirect fire response. So that would be, so we did get indirect fire, so they did respond. So the value is 1. So the value is 1 versus 6. No, 1 versus 8 for the armor unit. But it's going to be 5 versus 4 against the terrain. So 5 against 4, I would need a 77 or above to be effective. And 12, so it's not effective against the terrain. So that ends that indirect fire, and that ends the indirect fire segment. This unit right here loses the command Overwatch because it fired in the indirect fire segment. All right, that was good. I wanted to try to do an indirect fire against a unit and a terrain to see how it would work out. Not bad, I don't think. So let's look at I want to look at something on the American data card. So here's the vehicle that fired. Now you have this GP effectiveness, GP defense. 1 is armored and 5 is not armored, I'm pretty sure. And the question becomes, What are these used for right here? This is 5 is the maximum that the indirect firepower can have, and then the further away, the lower it gets. Also, it would have been at medium range because the range for the indirect fire is either the range from the spotter to the target or the firing unit to the target, and the firing unit, and which one is further away, and the firing unit was further away over here. I want to check for indirect fire. I just want to see if I can find another to confirm. Yeah, 1 through 4. See 4, 3, 2, 1. And I don't have to find. I just want to see units that can do indirect fire. M60, Chaparral. Alright, so let's look at wheeled vehicles. And we got the 998. How about the Soviets? Who can do, well, they can do an indirect, nope. 55, that's a bridge. I'm looking for units that can do indirect fire or direct fire. Soviets don't have that many. Americans have the 106. Actually, right here, yeah. So GP effectiveness can be 6. All right, 1 through 6. Over here it says 5. But over here it says 1 through 6 against armored. That shoots down my theory. So I would use 6. And then the further away you go, the less firepower you get. So this GP defense, that's the effectiveness against armor. These numbers are against soft targets. All right. So against armor, you have 1 defense factor. And against a non-armored target vehicle, you have another defense factor. And against leg units, you would have these factors. And also there's a minimum range. Leg units or towed units, or soft targets, you would have these factors. I'm guessing that's partial. And I'm guessing that right there is full cover. Okay, that's the way we're going to play it. All right, so we made it through the indirect fire phase. So what phase comes next? Let's look it up. We'll chart B. And I'm going to go, okay, so now we have the initiative. So now is where the staggered initiative comes. But the direct fire roll, initiative roll, was won by NATO, so they're going to go first. And then you're going to have the staggered initiative. So the initiative, so we're actually on the combat phase. We're going to the direct fire step, and we're running the direct fire phase. So NATO is going to go first, and then you're just going to roll initiative to see who activates their units. So obviously, since I have the initiative here, I'm going to take this shot right here against that fire tank. Well, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is a Bradley. They actually have tow missiles, so that's changes things up a bit. And I do have the Bradley modification with the tow missiles, which is an M3A1. Okay, I believe I have the M3A1. M3A1 has the tow. Yes. All right, so I do have M3A1. That range is greater than 4. So it's point blank range. So now I have to see the modifiers. So I want to see if the tank, the Soviet T-80BV, has any size modifiers. First of all, no size modifiers. Next, I have to check the two hits out. Let's go to chart A, across here. Now let's see what modifiers we got to it. Target is moving. It's an anti-tank iron missile. Nope, target has a fire command actually. So there's no, it's not moving. There's no cover. I'm not firing from a short halt. The shooter is not damaged or hesitating. Oh, it's not Overwatch. It's actually a fire command, not defensive fire. And shooter grade and weapon sight. So there's no modifier there. So there's no short modifier because we're at point blank range. Now I want to check the sight out. The weapon sight and see if that affects it. I believe it's right here. Yes. So what type of sight does that have? So you're looking, it's an optical sight, so there's no special modification for that. So there's a very good chance that this hits. There's no modifier. It's straight, I need a straight up 90 for this to hit. And then there's, the Soviets have special armor if it does hit. 96, so it's a miss. All right, so that was fortunate. All right, let's delete that, and that will be given a fired spot fire. Okay, well, the tow miss, there's a point blank range for a tow missile. 96. I couldn't get +1 to anything over there. I don't think I could have gone a +1. If it was a large target, I could have gotten that +1. But nope. We are using target acquisition bonus, however. And I think that does apply here. Shooter grade won't have an effect. I'm going to go down and take a look just in case. See, point blank range veteran, no effect. Okay. Hand to hand air, quick match. Suppress recovery. Okay. So that's good. All right. So this is the point where I'm going to stop. When I return, we're going to do the Staggered initiative direct fire portion. We already did the first direct fire, but now we're going to roll for the Staggered initiative. That's going to be it. Thank you very much for your patience. This is actually a very interesting game. There's a lot of detail to it. I love it. It may not be for everybody because of the level of detail, but you can play it at lower levels where there's less detail too. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Have a good day.